Hey, everybody. We are live. So excited to bring to you guys Vault Sessions Unleashed. My name's Toccara Nicole. I am an international figure as I coach millennial and Generation X women to discover their identity. And I do so by using discernment, sensitivity, and powerful insight. So as a coach, author, speaker, consultant, I literally come aside women and unlock who they are and expose them to their true value. So Vault Sessions Unleashed is something that has been a part of what I've been wanting to do for so long. And so now is definitely the time to do it. And I'm so excited that I'm here. So every week at this time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can definitely catch this show. So I'm excited to bring my sister to the platform. She is simply epic in everything that she does. And I know that just by her energy, when we first connected, we're like, sure, we connected. Here we go, and I love when God literally connects you with other like-minded individuals who are on fire for what you're on fire for, who are literally dedicated to living the life of understanding that we are here as servant leaders, not just to the kingdom, but also to the population that we are positioned to serve. And a lot of times it comes through pain and triumph, right? So my sister, Cathy Goodall, all the way from Jamaica. So thank you so much for kicking off my show with me. I'm so very honored and happy to have you.
No, it is my honor. And I am so grateful that God has, like you said, put us together. I mean, you are doing so many amazing things, not just for the kingdom, but for all of us. I mean, you're a light. So keep shining. I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Well, first of all, what I love is that we're on the same time zone. So there's there's no confusion. What time is that? What time? No, same time zone, different places. I would love to be in Jamaica right about now. The sand in between my toes and the sunshine and all that.
Right. Beaches are not open right now.
So let's talk about a couple of things. First, I want my audience to know who you are. And then let's dive into today's topic. And I will make sure to have that scrolling today as well. And so we're talking about how women should really be open to collaborating with one another no matter what, because it's so much power when women join forces. So, but first, while I put the topic on the screen, share a little bit about you. How did you arrive to this place where you're at? So go ahead and take us away.
So I am Cathy Goodall. I am a leadership and growth accelerator. I am definitely a kingdom girl, and I'm a closer. I'm a connector for businesses and people. How did I get here? I literally woke up at 3:00 one morning, and it's like a light went off, and God said, "What you're good at is helping people develop themselves. You're good at helping people to figure out what their purpose is and helping them to live it out." And so I became a John Maxwell certified coach, speaker, and trainer, because John Maxwell, for me, he's an amazing leader. His material, his purpose completely aligned, his values aligned with mine. And so I decided to go in that direction. I'm also the co-founder of Emerge, which is a series of workshops and summits that I do here in Jamaica and that I will be launching throughout the Caribbean this year. Well, was supposed to be this year, but we'll see how it goes.
Right.
But just like you, I have a passion for people and helping them to figure out, who they are and whose they are so that they can live out their best life.
Absolutely. That part, the whose they are. And just there's so much power in understanding who you are. That's the thing that I love about, really tapping into understanding like what you really bring to the table. And it might look different than someone else, and it doesn't matter. And so here recently, I wrote my 6th book. It's called Identity Blueprint, Keys to Unlocking Your True Self. And in that book, I literally just pour it out, like what it looks like to really own your identity, what it looks like to go on the search, the quest of figuring out who you are. And so one of the things I talk about in the book, that it starts with your roots. And so, you know, a lot of people don't want to do the digging to really find out like who they really are. You know, sometimes they get different glimpse of like, okay, that is it. Yeah, that is it. But like putting the whole picture together can be a struggle sometimes. And so, you know, I really encourage people, empower people, especially the ladies that I coach, to, in order for you to really hone in on your craft and your niche, you have to dig deep and understand your roots. What you don't want is to get to such a powerful place and then it to all be knocked down because you haven't done the work to really build a strong foundation. And so just even with sharing that, you know, today's topic is the power of women collaborating. I know for you, you know, you collaborate with women all the time. And so yeah, and it's powerful. So let's talk about it. Let's dialogue about it. I know there was a time in my life where I was intimidated by other women in their success. And I was jealous by them, you know, what they were doing. And so, you know, I don't mind even disclosing that because somebody out there who's watching this is probably going through that but doesn't want to disclose it. And that's okay too. However, there's so much power in understanding that it's okay to be that person for a season, for a moment, but there's a time where you have to shift and really own who you are. And it's important. So let's talk about this. For you, you know, which I'm sure you've had your struggles just as I have. So what were some of the struggles that you had prior to, you know, you owning who you are with just working with other women?
Well, so I think it goes back to what you talked about with your values and what you represent. You know, the reality is if you don't know who you are, you're never going to be comfortable being around people that are powerful, being around people that are self-assured. And so the reality is that you want to first understand who you are.
Yeah.
Right? You want to first be secure in who you are.
Yeah.
And I think the sooner that we understand that each of us were created for a purpose and we each are unique.
Yes.
That what you have, I don't have.
Yeah.
And what I have, you don't have.
Yeah.
So even if we're saying the same thing, the way that we communicate it, people will receive it differently. You can connect to people that I can't connect to. Likewise, I can connect to people that you can't connect to.
Right.
And the sooner we understand that we are facilitators for each other, the easier it becomes.
Say that again.
Yep, we are facilitators for each other. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think the first step, of course, is knowing who you are and loving yourself, because once you understand what value you bring, it makes it easy to open the door.
Wow.
Yeah, because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take your value away from you.
Yeah.
And you have to dictate based on the way that you are, the way that you think, how you treat other people. You show people what your value is.
Yeah. Yeah. And you show people how to treat you.
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely. And so, you know, I always talk about it. There was a time where, you know, I found it easier to be other people because I didn't want to do the work to be me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I found myself going after things and going after different ventures and even, you know, opportunities that looked good because such and such was doing it. And so like, okay, well, such and such is doing it, I can do it, which is true to a certain extent, but you have to be operating out of your own strength and to be operating out of your own. Yes. Your own identity blueprint. I talk about it all the time. Like there's power in your identity blueprint. And so, you know, understanding that you can have a similar vision to your sister, but there's always going to be a slight twist that makes you
totally execute it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that people have to understand that, you know, because you're capable of something doesn't mean that it's yours to do. Right. So of course we're all capable of following somebody else and copying somebody else. But guess what? Especially now when we live in a digital age where connectivity is so easy, people can tell when you're authentic or not, because who they meet online, if there's a different person who they meet offline, it's a totally different conversation. totally different conversation, and people are open to authenticity.
Yeah.
And we, it's a word right now that I think is popular, but do we understand what it means to be authentic? And the reality is that who you are is what people are drawn to. That's what makes you special.
Yeah.
That's what makes you different from everybody else.
Yeah. And that's powerful, because the thing is I encourage people to do the work to figure out what that thing is about them that makes them stand out. And, sometimes, and I'll be the first one to admit, I did not want to stand out. I was very cool being behind the scenes, because everything that I do is I'm all things administrative. So I'm very good at order. Yeah, so it's like, let me be behind the curtain. I can orchestrate it. I don't need to touch a mic. All I need is to be able to put batteries in it to make sure it works. I'm okay with that. And so God was like, time to move.
It's like, what? This was not a plan. It's so funny. God has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
He definitely has a sense of humor. It's like all the things, they say you plan and God laughs.
Like a big laugh, like a huge, like, ha, 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 ha. And it's okay. And to be able to, what I'm learning about this thing called life, and you hit like a bullseye for me, the whole authenticity. Everybody talks about how authentic they are. And I get it. However, how real are you when you are out here Facebook stunting? You talk about your this and you talk about your that, but when the cloak is revealed, or you take it off, and it's like, okay, you're nothing like who you said you were. And that's okay too. I just want for people to embrace where you are. It's okay to be on the road to your next breakthrough. It's okay, but just don't fake it until you make it. I hate that. Don't fake it until you make it. Take the time to really go through the breaking process to be made, so you can be healthy, especially as a woman, as today's topic is the power of women collaborating, so when you can connect with this woman who doesn't have what you have, and then you have what she needs, you guys can come together and make something beautiful out of it. And so a lot of times, that's hard for women, because we feel like we should have everything, and that's not the case.
Yeah. And it's important to understand that fake it until you make it it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be brave, right? Because faking it is not about being, we are called to be brave and to be bold. So because we have never done something before, it's not us faking it. It's us trying and stepping out of our box, stepping out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right. But faking it is when you know that something is not for you and you're trying to do it. Right? And people can see straight through that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like trying something and doing it one step at a time, that's okay.
Yeah.
Finding somebody to walk you through the process that has done it already, it's okay to ask for help. Yeah. And I think a lot of us forget that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
We've been brainwashed for so long with these stereotypes that, women don't get along and women are always trying to fight each other out and we're always catty. And that's not true.
No.
And especially if, like us, we're kingdom women, that's totally against everything that we stand for. Building a kingdom is about unity. It's about like-mindedness. It's about having alignment in values and morals. It's not having the same skill sets.
Right.
It's not having, you know what I mean? And so if Toccara has this amazing platform that she has created. Now imagine if you came and you sat down and you listened to Toccara talk all day, every day by herself, and you're limited to her knowledge and her exposure. But because she has your best interest at heart, she's now exposing you to other people that are like-minded. So it's people that think the way that she does, but might not see things the same way that she does, or has the same level of exposure that she does.
Yeah.
So the more that you collaborate with people is the more you're opening yourself up to experience and exposure.
Jesus. And sometimes people are nervous and scared and fearful to be exposed, because typically when you think of exposure, you think of the flaws, the negative things, and being exposed doesn't have to be viewed like that. Being exposed, and I love this because God just gave me this. It's like an explosion in the earth.
Yes.
You know, you've arrived at this place where people need what you have, because we all have something that we can contribute to this world. And so, you know, stepping out and owning that is a process indeed. You just don't arrive to saying, hey, I'm here and I'm gonna own. No, it's a process, as it should be, because there's things that you have to work out to be able to handle and embrace what comes with having your own platform, having your own business, the whole rejection. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, the things that people don't tell you, oh yeah, I'm gonna get on a coaching call with you, crickets, and you know, spent the time to prep for a coaching call and, you know, all these things. And, you know, it's real. And so being able to embrace all sides of you, especially women as entrepreneurs or those who are looking to become entrepreneurs, it's important for you to get the help that you need. And God took me through an amazing journey back in December. He laid an opportunity in my lap. I didn't have what I needed to do it. And I literally asked people to see it into my life. Basically, when I got done, I had more than enough to go ahead and pursue the opportunity. And I said, okay, God, I got it. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because there's people literally that are in a position to help you. And it's okay. It doesn't make you less than a woman, because we're talking about the power of women collaborating. It doesn't make you less than a woman to go to another woman who's a coach and say, look, I am struggling with locking people in for such and such and such. It's okay for you to be like, oh my God, I need your help.
Yeah. And it's two things I think that are important to understand. One, we've made the mistakes, right? So we're trying to help you to not make the same mistakes.
Right.
Because they can be expensive. And two, you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, so I think one thing that people have to understand about collaboration is that it's supposed to be mutually beneficial. And so before you go to somebody for a collaboration, you have to know, one, what value you're adding to that person before you start to take away. Right? So it's not just what I can get, but what can I give?
Yeah.
And it changes the way that you think, and it changes the way that that person will receive you. So collaboration is not just about what I can get out of a relationship, but it's very important for us to understand that we need to know what we can give to that relationship. What's the value that we're adding?
Yeah.
Right. And it could be that, you know, as a coach, I come to you because I need guidance. And first of all, let's be clear, all coaches need coaches, right? All coaches need coaches. So don't ever think that you're too advanced or you're too experienced to have a coach. Coaches are for accountability, and coaches are for guidance. Coaches are to help you to stay on track with the things that you need to be focused on.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
And so we need to be prepared to add value in our relationships before we talk about collaboration. And we also have to know what it is that we're trying to extract. So how are we going to become better from this collaboration?
Yes.
And when Toccara and I met the first time, it was like literal. I mean, our synergy was so on point, and we had never met each other before. It was a simple exchange on Facebook, like, we need to get together. And all I did was I went through her profile. I looked at what it was that she represented. I Googled her and found her website. Because guess what? What we put out there, if it's not who we are, then people are going to know. And I fell in love with her spirit before I met her.
Wow.
Right? And so when we connected, we already knew that we thought the same way.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was like, I mean, we behaved like we knew each other forever.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, and the truth is that when you're going into a relationship with somebody, we talk about collaboration, you have to make sure that you're aligned. And again, it's not about talent, it's about vision and value.
Say that again, sis.
It's not about talent, it's about vision and value. That's how you know there's alignment.
Right. And just to understand that you have something to bring to the table.
Yes.
You know, we go through so much, and sometimes we forget that life indeed happens, and we bury our gifts and our treasures underneath what happened. And so then there's so much work and energy to actually have to go into our vaults. That's why I call it the vault. Into the vault. And, you know, we have the combination to the vault. We've always had it to really figure out these things that we're really passionate and good at, because life does indeed happen. And instead of saying life happens, but we need to start saying life happens and, because there's life after the and it's, you know, that whole to be continued ... And so we need these collaborations to be able to even keep our heartbeats and our purpose, our vision before us at all times. So we know, like, wow, here we go, you know, so be able to get back in alignment, because life doesn't, it happens and it's supposed to happen. Let's talk about that. That allows for you to be even more strong of an individual, even a stronger woman, to be able to go through different things and allow for those things to even build upon your purpose even the more. And so God was taking me through a moment yesterday. My grandfather passed in October, and it was just the pain of, you know, him not being here anymore. And he literally God was taking me through this thing. He's like, well, this happened, and then I did this. Well, this happened, and then I did this. And then this happened, and this got birthed out. And I'm like, okay.
Bless God.
Man, I mean, I was laid out on this couch right here, just listening to the downloads and just seeing the visual on how God was like, I can use your pain to produce purpose. However, you need to submit everything to me and seek. Stop going to seek yourself. Seeking yourself is going to keep you stuck. Now that's a quote. Seeking yourself is going to keep you stuck, because he has the answers. He's the one that brings alignment to everything. He's the I am. He allows for us to function. He gives us everything we need. And when I laid out and just was like, okay, God, you know, it's a struggle to deal with death, period. And especially when it's somebody who's close, you know, it's a whole nother can of worms to actually deal with. And he was like, no, pain is pain. Let me help you. And I was like, yikes, you know? So sometimes we just have to be reminded. And then the reminders can come through collaborating with other women who've been where you are and have the desire to see you win and succeed. And to be able to help shove you out of your mess to some of the greatest places where they see that you have been designed to go. And sometimes you just can't see it. So I'm thankful for my sister, Cathy. Like, she's one of the dopest women on the planet. And I'm not just saying that. Like, when she's right, like, we just was like, it happens to me. It's very rare. I'll say that. It doesn't happen to me all the time. But when it does happen to me, I know. And so, you know, you got to be able to be vulnerable. Let's talk about that. Yeah, go ahead. I know you got some words around
vulnerability. So Brené Brown is like the queen of vulnerability, right? And my best friend called me a couple of weeks ago, and she said she had just finished Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. And she's like, oh my God, I finally, you are her. She's like, I understand now this vulnerability thing that you keep talking about.
Man,
so vulnerability really goes back to being your authentic self. And it's about, you know, you talk about fear.
Yeah.
And what is fear really? Fear is the way that we think and the things that we anticipate are going to happen. It's not even things that have happened already. So, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, suppose I go outside and I get run over by a car. Is that going to stop us from going outside? No, because we're used to getting up, going about our day. If we're going to work, we get dressed, we go in the car, we drive to work. Anything can happen at that time, but you're not thinking about what's going to happen every minute of every day.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is that you're not going to overcome the fear of something if you don't try to do it.
Woo!
Because fear is that...
No. Say, you got me so excited over here. Can you please repeat that?
So we will never overcome the fear of something if we don't try to do it. And so the reality is that we have all this anxiety over something that hasn't even happened yet. You know, I mean, of course, when we were coming on this live, my stomach was in knots because I'm just like, okay, you know, but I did it. I showed up and I'm having a conversation with my girlfriend. I'm having a conversation with my sister. It doesn't matter who is watching, because at the end of the day, I know that this conversation is going to add value to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I would say that a big part of vulnerability is being driven by your reason for doing it. What's your why? Let that be your driving force. You know?
Have you been in my house today?
Girl,
I think you must have teleported yourself from Jamaica up here in Chicago. I was just having a conversation, and she's actually tuning in. I'm not gonna single her out, but we were just talking about that whole knowing your why. It's such a game changer. Yeah. If you can look at yourself by understanding your why, your life shifts. Absolutely. Everything about you shifts, and you bring on such a power, such a freedom, such a joy, such a peace when you really understand your why. You wake up with it, you go to bed with it. Now there's times where you get, shuffled around to the right and to the left, but that's a part of the process of reminding you, digging deep within your vault, this is my why, no matter what. And then you have amazing people that come aside you and remind you of your why. Then you have enemies that come aside you and remind you of your why.
Absolutely. You talked about the experiences that we have, and, a lot of us like to look at some of our failures. And for me, I don't have any failures. I have no regrets in my life, because all of them have taught me something. Yeah. And I think if we start to look at the things that happen to us and try to find a lesson in it,
right,
then nothing is wasted.
Yes.
John Maxwell likes to talk about the fact that people say experience is the greatest teacher, but experience is not the teacher. What you choose to learn from that experience is what you teach, is what teaches you.
Yeah.
And so, who we are, what we go through helps to cultivate who we are.
Yes.
If we didn't go through the struggles that we went through, we would never be able to stand and say,
sheesh,
I can do it. Understanding, I went through an entire journey of falling in love with myself, because I was in a relationship for too many years to count that was very abusive. Yeah. I mean, my car got repossessed, my house went into foreclosure, like all kind of craziness happened, right? Because I lost sight of myself and my value and what was important to me. And God had to take me on a journey of reminding me who I am in Him, and I had to see who He created me to be. I had to remind myself of, this is who you are. This is who I said you are, and I am the one that made you. I am the one that created you. I sculpt you to become the person that you are, unique with all the idiosyncrasies that you have, all the things that you think are flaws.
Yeah.
Those are the things that people love. Those are the things that people are drawn to, because those are the commonalities that we find within each other. We share this experience because and that's what connects us.
Yes.
Now, how did I overcome that experience? So that's to help empower you to understand that, one, you can get through it.
Yeah.
And two, maybe you need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through it.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
And, that goes back to the vulnerability piece that we were talking about, and what I'm learning is that, and I was talking about this today again, one of my sisters, just letting people in can be a challenge.
Yeah.
It really can be. And then especially as women, it's a whole nother ball game, a whole nother realm of different elements that we go through just to be able to really be vulnerable with one another. And so, when you can really accept that I'm here, this is what I do. This is Cathy, this is what she does. And if we put Cathy and Toccara together, we got something explosive that nobody else got. And so it's okay to come aside the next woman who has something that you need, because when you add all the things up together, it's so powerful, and it allows for you guys to create that road of accountability to be each other's partner in crime, because we need that. And there's no way that we can do this by ourselves. And you said something really key, and I gotta go back to this because I talk about this all the time when I'm doing my identity sessions, with if it's through a course, boot camp, which I have one coming up really soon. Yep, that's a plug. ID Me 101 is coming up the week of June 4th. You got to register for it. June 14th. June 14th.
Oh, 14th. June 14th.
My bad. That was 2 days ago. That's today, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Thank you, sis. See, accountability. That's what I'm talking about. So June 14th, super excited about it. 5 days, just taking you through a quick boot camp. Some of the things that I really instill in reference to knowing who you are. That's a whole other topic for the identity boot camp. But just talking about accountability and how it's okay to be in need of accountability, because that can literally be the one thing that shifts you so quick to get to that next place in your life, because you're struggling and you're wondering, and then you're going back to, I'm trying to do it by myself. I don't want to ask nobody. It's like, no, just look, I'm trying to do 300 squats a day. I got some booty goals. I need some help. Can you please keep me accountable? It's okay, or, during these hard times, I'm trying to cook more. I'm not trying to go, to fast food, keep me accountable. Send me a recipe that works for you. Something where you can, what you're doing when you are asking for accountability partners with another woman, especially because we're talking about the power of women collaborating, is you're creating a trust factor between the two of you guys to be able to rely on one another.
Absolutely.
And that right there is so needed, because it's so huge.
Yeah. And I think it's important to understand that what you're looking for in someone else, make sure you're prepared to be that person.
Ooh.
Because, we talk about collaboration, but we have to also be very mindful of discernment, right?
Yes.
And the reality is that because somebody that you're collaborating with might not be the right fit for you, does not mean you're not the right fit for somebody else.
Right.
But you have to know, again, what it is that your values and your vision is, and make sure that that other person is aligned. Now, and we're not talking about your friends that you've had from your kids, in kindergarten until now. We're talking about new relationships. So you're talking about business relationships. You're talking about people that you're now going to be opening up to, because that's where the vulnerability comes in. You're opening yourself up to a new environment.
Right.
But you want to be all very mindful of who the people are that you're trying to align with.
Indeed.
Because it can be, and you said it earlier, it's not about the flashing lights or this person has 200,000 followers, or this person has, no, it's, does this person have the same vision as me? Am I aligned with this person's vision? Right? Because you're not trying to collaborate with people just for the sake of collaboration. You're trying to collaborate with people because it's going to be meaningful and it's going to add value to both of you.
Indeed. And I love you keep going back to vision and value, because they are hand in hand. You have to be able to capture your vision so much to where you see that it's valuable. Because if you don't see it's valuable, how can you expect somebody else to cling on to you in a good way, to be able to come beside you and even pour into something that you don't even value? That's being selfish at that point, because this person has gone through so much to get to where they're at, and then you want them to pour into you, and you're just going to let the oil waste on the ground because you're not in a place to even hold the capacity of who you are, because you don't know. And so, I really encourage people, especially women, to take the time to get to know who they are, because it's a game changer. One, you matter. Two, and so when it's time for you to be able to birth the business, birth the brand, birth the community center, whatever you're supposed to be, you have what it takes, and now you have somebody else in your corner who has what it takes. And then I just think about the resources that are available when you connect with other women. Like I'm a connector. One of my girls, her name's Rika Wright. She's watching it. This girl is the plug. Do you hear me? And she's Jamaican. So maybe that's just something. Maybe that's just something. I'm just kidding. No, but she is Jamaican too, but she's the plug. I can say she has connected me to so many people because she believes in what I do.
Yeah.
I believe in what she does. So I said, hey, this is who, go to this person for that. But even as women, we have to be in such a place to be secure in owning our why, to where I can say, you know what, I'm not an expert in that, but my girl Cathy, that's the one. And not feel some type of way, not have daggers in her back. How dare she take the person away from me? Like all that craziness. And that's
right. And that confidence in knowing that I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to refer people to you because you're better equipped to deal with this situation than I am. You know, and I think it's important to understand that, you know, there are all different kinds of relationships. You have coaching relationships, you have mentorship relationships,
Yeah.
and then you have collaborations. And not everybody is going to be on the same level as you.
Right.
And sometimes our role is to mentor and to help people to grow and to develop, right? Which is fine. So we don't expect that you're going to be able to give the same way that we give.
Yeah.
But we do expect that you're going to play your part, because a big part of a mentorship type of relationship too is understanding that you are adding value to somebody else so that they can add value to other people.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're not saying that collaboration means it's an equal exchange of value. What we're saying is you have to understand the nature of the relationship and understand the value that both of you are bringing to the relationship.
Yes.
I think that communication is important so that people manage expectations. You know, if I'm going to make somebody message me just today, she works at a company that I used to work for, and she said she started working there right after I left, and she was disappointed and she wanted to know, could I mentor her? And I'm like, I have no problems mentoring people, but I need to know why you want me to be your mentor and what it is that you're hoping to gain from this relationship.
Yes.
Because I need to make sure that I am the right person to mentor you. I need to make sure that what you're trying to get from me, I can actually give to you.
That's good.
That's good. And so in every relationship, when you're trying to reach out to somebody, one of the first things I would tell you to do, outside of how are you going to add value to them, be clear on what you're trying to get out of the relationship and articulate that. Because if people understand, this is what this is my vision, my view of you, and this is how I think you can help me, and they're clear, then that's going to motivate me to want to help you more, because you've done your research, you understand, you know, what I represent and what value I can add to you.
Yes. Love it.
You know, don't just walk up to somebody and say, hey, let's collaborate. Why do you want to collaborate with me? You know, what is it about me that you see? It can't be because I have 20,000 followers or 200,000 followers. There has to be more. There has to be substance.
Yeah. Substance. That's a way to end this show. Substance. Man, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Do you understand? There's so many things you could be doing, and you're here. So if you guys want to keep up with my sister, you can catch her on Facebook at Coach Cathy Goodall. If you want to follow her on IG, there's her IG plug. I'm telling you, she is the real deal. I love her authenticity, and she's just such a blessing to everybody that she comes in contact with, because she knows who she is. She's indeed a powerhouse. So I'm excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. There's a lot of things you guys can be doing on a Thursday night. I'm sure you guys are probably on your way home or cooking dinner or something, and you're tuning into the show. So you can expect me to be here every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll just be me. So you never know until you tune in. But thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys. So enjoy your day, your night, your evening, wherever you're catching this. Mwah, much love.